Hello, guys. Welcome back to LPY After Hours. This is episode 21, and today we're interviewing Grace Jacobs.
Wish it could have been Glenn.
So, if you could just introduce yourself for us.
Hi, I'm Grace Jacobs. That's my name. I am 18. I'm a senior at Albertville. That's pretty much it. I plan on going to Shorter University in Rome, Georgia, and do elementary education, so teach little kids. But yeah, that's pretty much it for an introduction, I guess.
Does anybody have any questions to start us off?
They're all munching.
Well, I'm Sadler Kilgo to start off with. I don't think we need to skip the introduction. I don't blame you. I wouldn't want. I wouldn't want to give you the mic either. But we'll start. So Grace, what made you want to go to? Was it you said Shorter University in Rome? And what made you want to pursue elementary education?
So the very last thing I ever wanted to do was be a teacher, and the very last thing I ever wanted to do was go to Shorter University. But I actually had planned on going into the medical field because that's where my mom is. And I actually watched her, like I shadowed her one day, and I saw her stitch up somebody's leg, and I quickly realized that was not for me. And then I was like, okay, well, I'll go be a pharmacist, be a compound pharmacist, actually put the medicine together and mix all the things. And then it didn't make me happy, and I didn't like it. But teaching was the last thing I ever thought I would do, because my entire life everybody was like, don't be a teacher, you're gonna hate it, the school system's so rough, and kids nowadays, they're so difficult to teach, and the education system is so difficult. And so I was like, okay, I'm not gonna do that then. But it was actually, I was serving here at Lifepoint in kids, and this person walked up to me, and I didn't know her at the time, and I did the game with the kids, and she was like, hey, have you ever considered being a teacher? And I was like, no, that's funny. And she was like, you should consider it, like, you're really, really good with the kids. And I was like, okay, well, I'm just not going to think about that ever again. And then my mom was actually the one who encouraged me not to teach the most. And I went home that night and hadn't talked to my mom all day. And the first thing she said to me was, I decided what you're doing with your life. And I said, and what's that? She said, you're going to be a teacher. And I said, why? And she said, because like you get off at 3 and you could pour into a youth group, because that's really important to me. And you would have summers off, you would have weekends off, and I love to do like little things, like I like to make jewelry, and I like to do little crafts and stuff. And she was like, you could do that on the side and you would have time for that. And I was like, okay, that's weird, like 2 times in a day. And I remember praying that night, being like, God, what are you trying to tell me here? Because I don't know what I'm doing with my life, and everybody does, and I don't. And I'm so upset and angry because I don't know. And I don't know what you have for me. And if you want me to be a teacher, please, show me, or tell me, please lead me. And then I went to work the next day, and the same thing happened. A customer was like, hey, they had kids, and it went great. And they were like, what are you doing? I was like, I don't have a clue. And she was like, you need to be a teacher. If you're going to be something, be a teacher. And I remember it gave me instant peace. And I went over to my friend and I bawled my eyeballs out. And I was like, I think I'm going to be a teacher. And then after that, everything fell into place. Shorter showed up and they emailed me, and I got early acceptance. And it was just, I got a scholarship to go there. I actually visited the campus, and because I thought I was going to go to Auburn or UAB. So I visited both of those schools, hated both of them, and then went to Shorter and fell in love. And so it was just a matter of listening to the Lord, I guess, instead of my own plan, and asking the Lord what he has planned for me, rather than asking him to bless what I have. So.
Which I think that's very, very interesting. I will say one thing that did catch me is about having the time off, just on the side note as a teacher. Also, I mean, you're in Rome, Georgia through college too, so I imagine that would make leagues easier, because you're not that far off.
Yeah, only about an hour and a half. So.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Is there anything in specific that made you want to go the elementary route, or was it like something that you kind of had to pray about or kind of ask God for guidance, or was it just one of those things that just came to you?
It just kind of came to me. Kids, because elementary is K through fifth, and younger kids have always been my passion in life. I love pouring into kids. I love babysitting. I love hanging out with kids. If I'm at a family function or any kind of function and I see a kid, that's where I'm going. Forget everybody else. I'm going to the kid. And so it just kind of came to me. It was natural. Now I would enjoy doing high school later down the road potentially, but for now it's going to be elementary. So.
Okay. We asked this to most of the people who
Somebody trust on my pizza. I know. I've had so questions. I've been on this pizza. Come on, Ava.
we asked the most people that we interview, but if you had to, like, so far from your life, if you had to create a moral to your story, what would it be?
I think the thing that I live by the most is trust in the Lord. There's been many, specifically Proverbs 3:5-6. That verse got me through a lot in life within the last year. And that has been the lesson that I've had to learn the most, is to surrender all and fully trust in the Lord. Because we're humans, we're weak, and we are helpless, and we can't do it all on our own. And so if I had one thing that I like to just always fall on, it's trusting in the Lord.
Logan, do you have a question? Okay. Not at the moment. So, do you want to did you grow up in church?
I did grow up in church. Do you want to know, like, the story of me
Yeah,
growing
I
up?
wanna know
Okay. So I started off in an old Southern Baptist church with... You good? You need some drink?
He's joking on a pizza.
It's like it feels like you got like a bead of water or something.
Yes.
You can't get it out.
Yeah.
I don't know what that was. It's my bad. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're
I'll
good.
die quietly.
Grew up in church, Old Southern Baptist Church. It's where my mom grew up for the most part, I think. I don't remember. It's where I grew up. My grandparents went there. My grandfather played the piano. It was a family church. Majority of my family went there. And then my parents divorced before I was 1, so it was just me and my mom for a while, because I lived majority of my time with her. And so then we went on to another church and spent a lot of time there. It was great. It was still very, like, it was more modern, but it was still very Southern Baptist, in my opinion. And then I think it was about 2 or 3 years ago, we came to Lifepoint, like, full time. Because I started at Lifepoint as a youth. Like, I think I came maybe 5th and 6th grade. Like, I had Anna Pippin. She actually brought me to Lifepoint on Wednesday nights. And so I had always floated in and out of Lifepoint. And then, like I said, me and my mom came about 2 or 3 years ago and started coming, I guess, full time, if you want to call it that. And been here ever since. And now my stepdad, Micah, he comes as well. So pretty much the whole family. My sisters started to come. So.
Do you have something?
I was trying to get the pizza now.
Okay.
Well, go ahead.
Get on mic.
Of course.
Come on. Yeah, let's say it. Come over and get her.
Am I in camera? No.
Kinda.
I'm too tall.
Too tall.
This is the issue. So, you're amazing. First of all, I'm
thank
just
you.
the producer. Second of all, you're amazing,
Thank you.
and you are such a light for the Lord, and you show it everywhere you go. And I think one of my biggest questions is, out of everyone in your life, if you could pick just one, who do you think has had the biggest impact on you and really taught you the most and really been the biggest mentor for you, I guess, and helped you through the most?
Oh, goodness.
That was a great question.
That
by
is
the
a
way.
really good question.
You better saving that one.
Yeah, you've been cooking this in the oven.
I don't know if I have just one.
That's fair.
Um,
I couldn't pick.
I can't pick just one, so I'm gonna give a few, if that's okay.
That's fair, yeah.
The first one I would say is my mom. My mom is my best friend, and she always has been, and so she's definitely taught me everything that I know, all the life lessons that I know, every like scripture, like, and she's just such an inspiration for me. Like, my mom gets up at the butt crack of dawn to read her Bible and then goes to bed reading her Bible, and like that, she doesn't realize it probably, but seeing her do that encourages me to do that. And it's just, she's such a lot, and she's grown so much, and so she's definitely been a huge one. I would say another huge one is definitely Clay. Clay really poured into me when I started coming to Lifepoint, and he's so loving and caring, but he's also so like protective, I guess. I would say that Clay is like my older brother in a sense. Like, we went to Mexico last summer, and it was him in front or either behind, and then it was Micah, which is my stepdad, either in front or behind us. Like, me and my mom were sandwiched in between them because they wanted to make sure we were protected. And so Clay's a huge one. He poured into me a lot. And then I would say I have two other ones. I go to another church on Sunday nights for youth, and the youth pastor there, his name is Jordan McDaniel. He pours into me a ton. I started going there probably within the last year, just because I have friends that go there, and I wanted to get fed on Sunday nights as well. And so I go. He has poured into me a lot. He's taken care of me too. Like, kind of took me under his wing. And then I have Cameron Vaughn. He's my boyfriend. He pours into me a lot. Even before we started dating, we were friends. And if I ever had a question or an issue or something, I went straight to him. And the first thing he gives me is biblical advice. Like, read this, read your Bible, listen to your Jesus music. When you pray, after you do that, come to me. And so he's been great. And so those are probably my four biggest ones.
Awesome. And I think it's important to have a significant other that's like that.
Oh, absolutely.
That was really important for me.
Yeah, he's definitely he's great. You know, I couldn't be more thankful and grateful.
So you
You sound like me, son. Good Lord.
That pizza's getting to y'all.
so you just brought up like worship music. So what is your favorite worship song?
Oh, there's a bunch of them. I would say my favorite artist currently is Forrest Frank. Simply because his songs have gotten me through a lot within the last year, and they're also just very upbeat. You know, like I need something upbeat to really cheer me up, you know, and really get me in the correct headspace for the day. But I would say currently my favorite song is I Surrender, and it has been for quite some time. Simply because, again, with the whole trusting in the Lord, like, I Surrender is a great song to really remind me that I need to surrender everything to the Lord and trust in Him wholeheartedly. And so I Surrender, if I ever need like a true worship song, I will probably go to I Surrender.
You know what's funny is that the other day, I don't usually listen to Forrest Frank, but I turned on a worship playlist.
Clay's laptop.
Can you turn the
Clay's laptop is like
I don't know how
dinging
to
every
use
2
that.
seconds.
Do you know how to
Oh,
use it?
I don't know. Let's see.
That's at the very top of the keyboard.
Oh, I don't want to do that because that might
Oh,
hold
yeah.
us down.
Yeah, since this is gonna be cut, let me go ahead and tell y'all
Don't have to
something.
deal
I'm
with
joking.
Hey, that's Clay's problem.
Yeah.
I don't edit the podcast.
Ooh, okay. But it's funny that you mentioned him as like your favorite artist, because the other day I turned on a worship playlist that I have not listened to, and Good Day started playing, and I was like, I've heard his songs before, and so I'm like, okay, I know this song, but I was really listening to it, and I was like, I'm listening to this song every single day.
Mm-hmm.
Literally every morning I listen to that song, and it gets me in the right mood.
Yes.
It's like magical.
I
No matter what they say.
I literally have 3 different worship playlist. One is, I call it my Jesus Jams, which is all the upbeat.
Oh, yeah.
I'd have the second one, which is God and Me, which is everything. Literally every worship music song you could ever dream of that I've heard at least. And then the third one is Frank It Up. Like Crank It Up. And so it's Frank It Up. And it's just Forrest Frank.
Can I ask you how long it took you to come up with those names?
Not very long.
Wow.
Um,
Yeah, okay, yeah. You're gonna be a good elementary. Oh my lord, I
Yeah.
punched it. Oh, you'll be a good elementary.
yeah.
I have a question.
Okay.
I don't know if it's gonna be good or not because I've never done this before. But what has Lifepoint done for you?
So many things. I would say, so I was saved when I was 7. Yeah, I was 7. So I was very young. I would say I didn't really, I fully believed I was saved then, but I didn't understand how you had to change afterwards, how the Lord changed you, not how you had to change because we can't do it on our own, but how the Lord changed you afterwards, and how sin will take over your life, and how you have to deny your flesh and all of that. And so I would say I didn't really start taking my faith seriously until the beginning of my junior year. And that's right fresh when I started coming to Lifepoint. And so fully and serving and all of that. And so Lifepoint, my entire life, I grew up as kids don't serve. Youth doesn't serve because you're not old enough. But at Lifepoint, I have so many opportunities to serve and so many opportunities to use the gifts and the talents that the Lord has given me for His glory. And so that itself is such a blessing to me because I love being on the worship team. I love being on the tech team. I love serving in kids. I love coming to youth and serving in youth. And so those are huge to me. And the fact that I have the opportunity at my age to do it is humongous. And so that in itself is probably one of my favorite things. But also just the people and being able to walk in and being welcomed no matter who you are, what your name is, and where you come from. That was just, that in itself is just amazing. And how everybody is a family. I would say that Lifepoint gave me a new perspective and a new meaning of church. And that was huge to me.
Amazing.
Okay, one more question. Tyler, do you got it?
Yeah. Right.
Sadler always has a question. It's just deep.
Well, I can come up with something. Well, now do you have one? Do you have one, Abe?
No.
Okay. I can always, oh shoot, we went black there for a minute on the screen. I thought. I'm gonna say that scared me to death. The reason I say that is because I can always come up with something, but I don't I'm saying. Does anybody, before I say anything, does anybody have a question that they're just dying to ask?
You haven't asked anything.
She just asked the previous question.
Somebody's not paying attention.
I am. It's just. I don't
Excuse
have
me,
very-
Mr. Brown.
Logan
can you
did have a
please wait
question,
till-
but
I'm sure.
he
It's past
changed his
bedtime.
mind. What was your question going to be?
Oh no, it was about the good day. It's just it got off topic.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah. Okay, we'll go off that. We talk a lot here about now what has Lifepoint done for you. We talk a little bit about what you feel your calling in life is, and we've talked a lot about that. I will say, not people that have helped you in your faith. I'll ask you, when you look up to people, regardless of whether they're a famous person, I always make it a point to stare at the camera at least once. They can be Christian, secular, whatever. Who would you consider a person, preferably a little bit more on more of a famous person? I'm just saying, just for something that you would look up to, almost not necessarily a role model, but just somebody that you look and think, that'd be a good person
Yeah.
to be like.
I would say for me at least, I don't have social media. And so it is very difficult for me to look up to someone that is on the more famous side, simply because I don't have any way to see anything about them.
It doesn't matter either
And
way to
they-
me. I'm just going
Yeah.
off a point.
And also it's always, for me at least, with famous people, like obviously you have your discernment with it and stuff,
Mhm.
but it's always been kind of difficult for me to look up to famous people simply because you don't know what they're not posting. And so I've always been more of a, if I know you, like I gotta know you, you know.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna put my trust and my, this is who I'm looking up to, this is who I want to be, I gotta know you, like what you're what you're doing. But I would say the person that I look up to the most would definitely be my mom. My mom's been, me and my mom have been through the ringer. And so, just seeing how she has overcome so many battles and seeing how gracious and forgiving she is throughout those, and just how wonderful of a woman she is. If I were to be anybody, I want to be half the woman she is.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. And the reason I ask that is because I think generally a lot of people will have somebody in mind. It'll either be somebody they're close to or somebody that they look to, like I said, on the famous side. And when I said preferably, I didn't really mean preferably.
Yeah.
The reason I say that's because I didn't want to ask the same question
Yeah.
twice. But I don't. In the end, it didn't come out that way. It didn't come out as the same one.
Hey,
So,
it's okay.
yeah. Yeah, and that's all I got. Logan, do you have something now? We're gonna go to Logan Brown. All the way.
yeah, okay.
He's got it.
So, when you're having like a bad day, when you're having like a bad day, what's like your go-to thing to make your day better?
So if I'm actually I had an okay day today, and then I was wearing light pants, like they were like baby yellow, and then I got red drink on them, so I had to drive home, and it made the afternoon questionable. But the first thing I did was I texted Cameron, and I was like, I just did this, and this is terrible, and I'm so upset. And so him being him, he called me, and he was like, are you okay? And he was comforting me, and he was like, you need to pray, you need to listen to your Jesus music, you need to, read your Bible if you have time, I know you're at church and you're busy. And so he helps me a lot when I have a bad day, but if I don't have the opportunity to talk to him, then the first thing I do is I try to pray. But if I'm in a situation where I just can't because I can't focus, or I can't, just somewhere you just can't, I always try to turn on my Jesus music, and specifically the upbeat one, because an upbeat song can always get you out of a bad mood. And so those are my ways of getting out of a bad day. And I always try to think positive, because even though I spilled red drink on my pants, like I have air in my lungs and I'm living another day. And so, and I had pants, I had money to buy the pants, I had money to have gas in my car. I have a car that drove me home. Well, I drove myself home, but I could ride in it home and then put my pants in the washer, and I don't have to hand wash them, and we have laundry detergent. And so I try to think on the positive side and remember those little blessings that I can sometimes take for granted. And that really puts everything into perspective.
Okay, so we're going to wrap up table 1 and take a little break, and we're going to come back, and Stella's going to host, but we have to dab. So.
Oh, wait. You missed the quote.
Table 1 loves you, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Don't say, you better not leave that out. What is that? Okay. I'm getting clipped for that one. It would be funny when I had me on there like Ronald Reagan, like, we love you, and there's nothing you can do about it.
That was interesting.
That was fun.
3, 2.
Welcome back, everyone, to table 2 of this interview with Grace. I'm here with Valisha, Sadler, and May. We love. So, starting off, does anyone have any questions?
I do.
All right.
So,
Let's
how do you deal your relationship with Christ and being a high school student? Why are y'all laughing?
Because he was staring dead in the camera. like just dead staring straight into the camera.
I'm not laughing.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so you asked, do you mind repeating?
How do you deal your relationship with Christ and being a high school student?
I think for me, I just
over here.
Okay.
I'll need to get-
All right. I think for me, first of all, I choose my environment wisely. The people I surround myself with on a day-to-day basis is very important, especially in high school, because if you just hang out with anybody and everybody, then it's going to be difficult, because there are some people in high school who don't take it seriously. And that doesn't mean don't be friends with them. You should still, pour into them and be friends with those people, but that doesn't mean that they have to be your best friends. And just remembering how much God has done for me encourages me to continue to shine his light, because if you, one thing I always like to say is you may be the only Bible anybody ever reads. And so the way you live your life, and if you call yourself a Christian and you're taking it seriously, that's super duper important, because somebody may not ever open a Bible, but they know that you're a Christian and they see how you walk. And if you're going to talk the talk, you got to be willing to walk the walk. So just remembering that everything that you do, everybody's going to be watching you, especially holding you to a higher standard, and that's just how it is. And it's okay to fail. It's okay to have trials and tribulations, but you should still consider the fact that, like I said, you may be the only Bible anybody ever reads. And so, and also, if anything ever happens, like have a bad day or somebody makes you upset,
I'm sorry. Stop. Sadler, please. Okay.
I was holding it together so well.
I'm so glad that I'm not sitting in front of you because I would not be able to.
I was holding it together so well. And then our wonderful producer had a notification go on.
Guys, let's go back to.
I about lost my crowd.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay. Go on. Okay.
So,
I'm so sorry.
no,
This
you're
is my
good.
fault.
Yeah,
You're
Clay's
good.
never letting us back on here.
Y'all are good.
I'm cracked up and I can't. I'm trying.
Probably that pizza.
Just breathe.
Just be willing. First thing you do if you have a bad day or if you're struggling, pray about it. Listen to your Jesus music. Be willing to be a witness. Be willing to spread the gospel. And if you have Jesus at the forefront of your mind in everything that you do, then it'll be difficult at times, but it'll help you.
Anybody else got any questions?
I kind of do. About the music thing, how'd you like drop certain types of music?
I would say that's still very difficult. There are definitely some, because I used to do theater, and so a lot of theater songs are not very Christian based. And so sometimes I get in a theater kid kick, and that's literally all I want to listen to. And so I would say it's still very difficult for me, at least. But I just really find worship music that I love so much that that's all I want to listen to. At the first table, we were talking about like my favorite artist, and my current favorite artist is Forrest Frank. And his music, I just love it. It's gotten me through so much, and it's so upbeat and fun. And so when I listen to that, it's like, why do I need anything else? It's a form of worship music, and it's talking about the Lord, and you're praising the Lord while you're singing this upbeat, fun song. And so for me, it was just finding music that's worship music that replaces the same type of music that I was listening to before. So like if you like rap, listen to Hovey, If you like upbeat pop, listen to Forrest Frank, And so it's just a matter of figuring out what type of genre you like the best, and then finding an artist who sings that but in worship music. Does that make sense?
Do you what is one Bible verse or quote that you like that? Gosh, I can't even find the
You
words.
got it.
Or like life quote?
Yeah, life quote that you go on every day.
Mine is it is Proverbs 3, 5 5-6. And it's trust in the Lord wholeheartedly, you know, and so on and so forth. But my life quote would be to trust in the Lord, because just that verse and realizing that I have to surrender everything to the Lord got me through a lot, especially within this last year. And so having to realize how weak and how tiny we are as humans, like, I mean, you got to trust in the Lord with all you got, because He will.
Why do you go outside and just laugh? He didn't even laugh. He wheezed. He wheezed.
He smirked again, and I was like, covering my
Just leave, just to
Just
laugh.
yeah.
To let the giggles out.
Yes.
Okay.
You should have just laughed in here. You could still hear it. But
Sure, the mic picked it up out there.
yeah. But just trust in the Lord,
Mhm.
and surrender everything to Him.
What is like? Do you have any advice for like upcoming high schoolers, like 8th grade going up to like 9th grade? Because you know high school is like a drastic
Yeah.
change and everything changes. New friends,
Yeah.
new friend groups, new hobbies and stuff like that.
The first thing is don't be so hard on yourself. When I first, and also be involved. Like for me, when my freshman year, I was a fly on the wall and did not speak to anybody. Was like didn't get involved, didn't dress up, didn't like. You would have never known I went to school, because like I was so didn't want to talk to anybody. I was there, get through the day and leave. And then my sophomore year, I kind of got more involved. And that year was super duper fun, because I did dress up and I just didn't care what anybody thought. And that would be the biggest thing, not just in high school but in life, is just be yourself, you know, and don't care what anybody else thinks, because sorry, Sadler's coming in here and I'm distracted.
Why don't you just
Oh, but just be you, you know, and live your life and glorify God in everything that you do, and don't care what anybody else thinks of you, because somebody's always going to have something to say. And if you are so focused on that and so focused on what other people are thinking of you, then you're just going to be miserable the entire time. And granted, for me, I know high school's not going to be the best 4 years of my life, but I at least try to make it some good 4 years, you know, and just don't listen when it comes to, especially making your schedule. Don't listen to anybody else. Make your schedule based off what you want, and choose your friends wisely. Choose your environment wisely. I didn't choose my friends wisely until about like my junior, senior year, and so that freshman, sophomore year was rough compared to that junior, senior year, and also be okay with losing some people. There's going to be people that are your friends now that won't be your friends at the end of high school or in the middle of high school, and that's okay. It sucks because they're your friends and you don't want to lose your friends, but you grow up a lot in high school. I would say, at least I did, and you mature and you start to figure life out just a little bit, and the people that you were friends with in 8th grade might not be your friends in 10th, 11th, or 12th grade. And that's okay. And so don't think that there's something wrong because you'll have to separate, you know. And so my biggest thing is focus on the Lord and what His plan for you is, and listen to that discernment that you have on decisions you should make, and again, just choose your friends and your environment wisely.
How do you like balance your schoolwork and like spending time with God?
That one's rough. Also because I have a job too, so
Don't you work at
local Joe's, and I have a boyfriend as well, and so like having to balance. Yes. Yes.
Wait until after.
Yes. Yes. And so
Finally.
I just got the chills.
And you said local Joe's, and she looked at me. She said, "I just got the chills." I said, "From barbecue."
No.
so having to balance all of that it's definitely more on the difficult side, I would say. But my biggest thing is, if you want to, you will. If you want to read your Bible, if you want to listen to your Jesus music, if you want to pray, you will. You will find time, and you will make it an effort, whether it be you getting up earlier in the morning, whether it be you going to bed later at night, or if you just find yourself scrolling on your phone, then be like, wait, I need to put this down, because this is 30 minutes that I could be reading my Bible. And even if it's just 5 minutes, 5 minutes is better than none, you know? And so just be intentional with your time, and learn time management, especially with your schoolwork. Like, try and be as early as you can with your schoolwork. I know that's not what you asked, but be early with your schoolwork. It'll make your life a whole lot easier.
My
And
grades
then
are so good right now. I'm trying to hold on to that.
Yes.
Same thing. I got 26 in English.
Hey.
26.
26.
I
We're
expected more from you.
Right.
I have the highest grade in math I've had in my entire
Right.
school life.
I'm
That's
I'm
awesome.
97. I usually
nice.
have, I'm like a D student.
I'm 80. I'm have an 81. I'm mostly like a F student.
We
And
ain't
it's
gonna
all because
Oh.
of the teacher. Like, the teacher is so amazing.
But
Because, if my sister see this.
yeah, just be intentional with your time. That would be my advice.
You've been on mission trips, right?
Yes.
How many?
Oh, 2.
Which one is your favorite?
I went to Mexico last summer with Lifepoint. Went to Reynosa, Mexico, and worked with Big Heart Orphanage. My favorite mission trip I've ever been on in my entire life. But like it was out. Hold on. Let me gather my thoughts. I loved it so much that I'm actually going back this summer for a month. That's my senior
Lucky.
trip. I know. It's my senior trip. And so, but I loved it so much that I'm doing an internship with them.
Why was it your favorite?
So Big Heart Orphanage, do a little promo for them real quick. Big Heart Orphanage, they have three orphanages in Mexico. They have one in Reynosa, one in Matamoros, and then one in the mountains. I'm not exactly sure. They just call it the one in the mountains. And what they do is they have kids, but they're not orphans. They have families, but they don't have a male in their family to make money for their families. And so the moms or their families or whoever they may be living with want a better life. Yes, this is them. Big Heart. Love you guys. If you ever see this, I doubt you will, but I love you.
That beat up all alcohol night club.
Yes.
That definitely reached the
But it's for families.
Not the way.
What was that? Okay, I think we need to kick Sarah. I'm kidding. I'm
I tried to
kidding.
relieve myself once, and I heard y'all chatting about me.
Yes, we did.
Because we heard you laugh from outside.
Y'all
We
can
did.
hear that?
Yes.
You were easy.
You were like,
You're like,
Let's get back on track.
Okay, back on track. Big Heart, it's for their families that want a better life for their kids. And so they'll put them in this orphanage. And obviously there's a whole lot of legal processes that go along with it to get approved and stuff. But they'll give them clothes and they'll feed them. And they do chores so they can learn how to be humans and have a life, and they'll go to school. And then on the weekends, the families have to go to church, and they'll have family weekends. So either the families, because it's obviously a Christian-based orphanage, so they got to go to church. And so on the weekends, either one weekend the families will come to the orphanage, and they'll do crafts and stuff, Bible studies and all that. And then the next weekend, the kids will go back home and spend time with their families at home. And so then that alternates.
that sounds fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then at Christmas and on holidays and stuff, they'll go to their family's house for a little longer and stuff. So they still get to have spend time with their families. It's not like they're completely gone, from their families. But it's really fun. And when we went, we went to we stayed in Reynoso, but we went to the Matamoros orphanage, and we added on to their school building, because the Matamoros one is the ranch, and so they have all of the food and like all of the livestock and all of the crops, and so their school building is on their land. And so we went and added on because they needed an extra room or two for their school. So that's what we did when we were there. But technically, that's what the guys did. I did not technically do that. I worked one day, and then the rest of the time I spent time with the kids. The first day when we went to Matamoros, we did the chores with the kids before, because we wanted to do like a Bible study and a game with them, but they had to do their chores. So we did their chores with them, and some kind of learned how to speak Spanish so we could communicate, and then after that, we stayed back at Reynoso the next day, and we loved on those kids and played games and did Bible study. One day, we actually did hide and seek Nerf war. So like
Fun.
yes,
Training them in guerrilla warfare.
Clay, we should do that this summer.
the seekers had blindfolds on and Nerf guns, and then everybody else hid, and you had to get shot with a bullet to like get out. It was so much fun, but it really is like my home away from home. Like, a piece of my heart will forever belong there. And they're amazing people, amazing kids. And so I would recommend, if you want to go on a mission trip, I highly recommend going there, because it's just like a phenomenal time. And we actually went to the canal one day, and it was just amazing to see how these people had nothing but were so willing to give us everything. Mm-hmm. And just seeing how little they had, but were so full of life, and were so full of joy, and so full of like wanting to praise the Lord. And like it was beautiful. I bawled the entire time, because it was like it hit me with reality. Like, I'm so beyond blessed, and I have all these things, but yet what I think is enough is always a moving target. And to see how they have not even a fraction of what I have, but yet they're so joyful and so full of life. Like, it really put into perspective like how blessed we are here. And it was just a phenomenal trip. And so obviously I loved it so much that I'm going back. So but it's if you ever have a chance, not just to go to work with Big Heart, but to go on a mission trip anywhere, take it, because it will change your life.
So I think we have time for maybe one more question.
Okay.
Any takers?
One, maybe two.
One, maybe two.
Okay.
Well, you can ask. Oh, do you have a question?
Who all has questions?
I got one, but it's gonna take like 5 seconds. So
Okay.
All three of y'all can ask y'all's questions. We'll be fine.
all right. So a little bit off topic. How is it that one would become in line to be able to go on a mission? Okay, come on, y'all. How is it that somebody would be able to become eligible and be offered the ability to go on a mission trip? Or how do you apply for that?
So for this one, Lifepoint is actually going, so talk to Q.
Okay.
Any other mission trip, I'm not exactly sure. I've only ever gone with a church. So
Well, that's what I meant.
right, and so we're going this summer, 21st through 27th, 28th maybe of June, sorry. And so talk to Q. He's over mission trips, so I would talk to him.
How much is it?
But no, I know it's under 1,000. It's like 6 or 7 maybe. So it's still a good chunk, but it's worth every penny.
For how long? Like a week?
Yeah. So, and that includes your staying there, your plane ticket, and all that.
What can we not bring with us? Actually, we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
Now that sounds suspicious. I'm not saying anything to make
That's not a podcast question.
No more questions.
Okay.
You can ask.
What's your favorite thing about Lifepoint?
My favorite thing about Lifepoint is how everybody's a family, regardless of who you are and what your name is and where you come from, and how you can serve at any age.
This is gonna be a deep question. I'm just kidding. How do you find a God-centered relationship? Not friendship wise though, dating wise.
Like dating wise?
Yeah.
If I'm being honest, mine came out of the blue.
That's the best one.
Yes, it's when The best ones come when you are so focused on the Lord and you have retired yourself from dating, and then they come in and sweep you away. And so, for me, Cameron and I were friends for almost a year, and then Cameron's my boyfriend. Sorry. Cameron and I were friends for almost a year, and we just genuinely got to know each other. We were best friends. He was the person I went to for everything, and I had a big fat crush on him, but I didn't tell anybody because I was like, there's no way this dude likes me.
Yeah.
And then we just started talking, and we started calling every night, and I was like, this is a little fishy dude. What's happening? And then we both were like, oh, we like each other, and we both have for quite some time. And
oh shoot, I have feelings. For you.
right, it's like, oh shoot, what's happening? And so then we were like, okay, let's do something with this. But I would say it's be so focused on the Lord and be so focused on your relationship with the Lord, and one day it'll just come, and you'll know when it's right. And I hate when people told me that before, because I was like, there's no way you just know, but you do. You just know. It's different. And but I would be patient until it comes. And I mean, there's no harm in going on dates with people and getting to know them,
Just
But
don't force it.
yeah, don't force it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. This is what I did. I made a standards list of things that were non-negotiable. Could not bend at all. If you didn't meet them, bye. And why are you staring at me?
I got the camera, and now I got the microphone.
Yes. And so made a non-negotiable list, my standards. And then if anybody didn't meet them, I was like, bye, And then Cameron came in and exceeded them. And so that's when I was like, okay. But I would really pay attention to their fruits, pay attention to how they act, and pay attention to, who they really are. Are they being real with you, or are they lying to you just so they can get you, It's just be really, again, just so focused on the Lord that they literally have to chase the Lord to get to you. And one thing that Cameron told me, and then I took, was if you're running your race with the Lord, and then you look to your right and you look to your left, that person better be right there with you. Because if somebody's behind you and you're having to drag them, they're going to drag you back. There's no way. I don't know if you could hear that because I wasn't close to the mic. But if you're having to pull somebody, they ain't worth it. They ain't worth it, because at the end of the day, it's you and God. And if you're compromising your relationship with the Lord to have a dude, it ain't worth it.
That's all.
I think that's it.
All right. I think that's all the questions we have for the second table. So thanks for joining us, Grace.
Thank
We love
you
you.
for
There's
having
nothing
me.
Okay.
All
I'll
right.
let Sadler do the honors.
Alrighty. If you want to do the final dab, we can.
Okay.
This has been the inside of Lifepoint Youth, episode 21, wrapped up. We love you, and there's nothing that
You can do about it.
Do we dab now? Oh, yes.
You have to dab too.
Yeah, why are you dabbing?
Last time I hit the E line.